Okay. Okay. Oh. All right. So, hi everyone. I'm here with Born Vegan.
Hi.
AKA Sarina Farb. You've probably heard of her, but if not, go subscribe.
Thank you.
Or where are you most active?
Instagram these days.
Yeah. And we thought of, well, Sarina and I both turned 30 recently. And Sarina made a really awesome reflections on turning 30 post on her Instagram. And I thought, since you're visiting Denver, we could just chat about this topic, like aging, beauty standards, how our journey has been.
So much there.
So yeah, I thought we could start out by going through like our personal journeys.
Gotta love that word, journeys.
On, body image and beauty image. I guess that's kind of factored into body.
Yeah, how we feel how we have felt and feel.
Yes.
About our bodies and our relationship with our bodies.
So like starting from, early years, high school, and then how we feel now that we're 30. So do you want to go first?
Sure. Okay. I grew up generally feeling pretty okay about my body. I did competitive gymnastics for like 7 years as a kid, and I did have a family that was a little bit weight focused at times, and I definitely got the message like skinny is better. And I think I also was like, I'm always fine. Like it wasn't something that I, in that way, was super self-conscious about. But also probably because I felt like I fit the supposed beauty standard that I was receiving a message about. But the other thing is, like, people have always thought I'm younger than I am. And a lot of that is probably due to my short height. And when I was really little, it used to bother me. And like, I have a sister who's 4 years younger, and when people would go, "Oh, which of you is older?" I would be like, "I'm the older, like how dare you? I'm the older sister." But then as I got older, more into college and after college time, into my 20s, I started to like be glad that people always thought I was younger. And even now, people still think I'm younger now. And I do still find myself like, oh yay, this is good. Like, I'm looking young and healthy and, but I also think it's interesting that we assume like young equals healthy, it's kind of the fountain of youth thing.
And you were raised vegan, so.
Yes. So, but it's been interesting being on social media more, and like as I've gotten older and in the last couple years I've been a lot more into fitness, something like I was when I was really young in gymnastics, and then through like high school and college I was not super athletic and that wasn't a big focus. So getting more into both running a couple half marathons, and like now also weightlifting. And part of what I've noticed more recently is I have gone down some fitness rabbit holes on social media and Instagram in particular. And like at first I told myself like they were inspiring, and like I've read like Vegan Health and Fitness magazine and like kind of had this idea of like, I'm gonna work hard enough, like work out, run, like I'm gonna, and I was kind of unconsciously realizing that like I was aiming for that. Like, I want to look a certain way. I want to keep looking young. And I realized as I was getting closer to 30, like the last year or two, I started to have a lot of like fear and anxiety around what turning 30 meant, and like, oh my God, at some point I'm going to start looking old. Like like that kind of started to come up, and I realized I was like full on rejecting that. Like, I'm glad people think I look young, and I am working towards fitness goals, and like, I don't want to look old.
Yeah.
And like that started coming up really strongly for me. And there's the added piece of like, I do make content about veganism and growing up vegan, and feel like, you know, at times have felt this pressure of like, oh, I gotta look a certain way. And if I'm trying to tell people I can be healthy my whole life, you know, this way, like, what do I have to show for it if I don't look healthy?
Yeah.
And there's a fine line there of like, there's some truth to that, I think. And also I started realizing like, something about this doesn't feel great, because now I'm comparing myself to like all these fitness influencers online, and when my bodies don't look like theirs, you know, kind of feeling like, am I not working hard enough, or am I, you know, like, what am I doing wrong, or what? And now I've like really, I see the fitness influencer space a bit differently right now at the moment, and especially realizing, and you know, we can talk about ex-vegans and like, but there are so many, you know, ex-vegans out there who'll be like, I lost my period for 2 years and stuff like that, and you're like, that's why they quit being vegan. And there's so much that I've learned recently about like body fat percentage in women, and how difficult it is to achieve, like the look that a lot of women are like, I want to have the 6-pack abs of those influencer women. For guys, it's different. Like, you know, like they can achieve a lot more of that, you know, muscle structure and look.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult for them too, but especially difficult for women.
But yeah, and what I've been reading a lot more recently is like, not just difficult, but like legitimately unhealthy.
Yes.
Like that women are not meant to have that low of a body fat percentage. And so the fitness influencers or bodybuilders or people that are doing extreme, you know, weightlifting and diet watching and all of this stuff. And like, yeah, it's fun to have goals and things you want to achieve, but like, for me, I realized I was starting to compare myself to that when I was putting in a lot more time and energy and effort into my fitness stuff, and then going, oh, maybe it's not so healthy to look that way or try to achieve that. And the reality is those are a few fitness influencers online that sometimes become my whole feed.
Yeah.
And like, that can really mess with your head. And so I just kind of had this like little bit of a wake up moment where I was like, I'm doing pretty good for 30.
Yeah.
I feel good. You know, I may never have that 6-pack abs and flat stomach, whatever, that, you know, and like, that's fine, and who cares?
Yeah.
And like, screw the beauty standards, and maybe we should be embracing that more. And like, and then we have a stigma against aging, and like, I may not be fully ready to embrace, you know, every aspect of looking older. Like, I still find myself, you know, wanting to look younger, and for the most part being glad that I look the way I do. And that I don't have, like I love my hair. That's something.
Your hair is amazing.
Thank you.
I don't like my hair, so.
So the idea of like, if my hair starts thinning or were to go gray, like, that'll be another thing that I'm gonna have to like reckon with, because I can't say I've embraced that.
You're not ready to lose the youthful hair, for sure.
But like, I'm ready to lose the attachment to like a certain very specific beauty standard.
Yeah.
That I think is very hard to achieve, and probably not a super healthy model that we should be modeling for young women.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's my journey. I guess if there's other specific questions, that's what came to mind now.
Yeah, I relate to some of that for sure. So I grew up, I was always very skinny. Like, I'm definitely one of those people that's like actually genuinely naturally skinny. But I grew tall before I put on any weight, so I was like underweight in my childhood. So I would get comments like about how skinny I was, and like my mom was always offended because she took it personally, like she wasn't feeding us or something. That wasn't the case. I was never like starving.
Yeah.
But like weight was never an issue. Like once I reached high school, this was like back when thin was definitely in, right? Like the heroin chic, like whatever.
Yep.
And which, side note, I realized something that's hilarious, and I think the reason so many women thought that they were fat in the 90s was because we were all wearing low-rise jeans. Like, I was really skinny, and even I thought that I had a belly pooch because I was wearing these low-rise jeans.
I do not like low-rise.
They're just so... Anyways, that's a different topic, but growing up, like in high school is when I had like, not that I had huge body image issues, but I definitely had more insecurities. Like, I was concerned about my arms being really hairy, and I didn't really have boobs. Still waiting for those to come. Just kidding.
Eat some more soy.
Yeah, if soy makes your boobs grow, I would have boobs. But anyways, and I felt a little bit like more pressure to wear makeup, especially because I had acne. So I would like compensate for my acne, I would kind of wear a lot of eye makeup and try to look real cute, you know? And then college, my acne cleared up and I stopped wearing as much makeup, and I realized that I had felt really ugly because when I was wearing a lot of makeup, when I would take it off at the end of the night, I would feel like less, like I wouldn't feel pretty. But then when I stopped wearing makeup, and of course having clear skin helped, when I don't wear makeup often and then I put it on, I feel like extra beautiful. Whereas when I don't wear makeup, I just feel like normal. Yeah. And so I think that, like, I'm not anti-makeup, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's something that we should wear like every day, just because of that like feeling of, you never want to feel ugly without makeup on. You know what I mean? And I think it is a perception thing because no one else cares. Like when I see another girl without makeup, I'm never thinking like, wow, you look like shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then as I entered college and like towards the end of college, I started getting really into yoga. And I read the book Healthy at 100 for my yoga teacher training. And that book was all about like aging, you know, gracefully and increasing your health span, not just your lifespan. And the mentality was like feeling really good in your older years. And so of course I'm like 23 years old, so I'm feeling really good about aging. I'm like, wow, like when I get wrinkles, like I'm not even gonna care, because like I'm just grateful to be alive and be like have made it to 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever. Like 23. At 23, I just had such a great attitude about aging.
Good for you.
And then as I started getting older, I started getting like gray hairs and like a little bit of forehead wrinkles. And I started noticing that super healthy mentality about aging may have been the fact that I was 23 years old and like still so far away from it. But now like I still feel generally okay about aging. But it is interesting. I also am curious if it's like the media that I'm consuming now. Maybe I should reread Healthy at 100. But like I'll watch, you know, like Gilmore Girls, whatever. And like they're these women who are wearing lots of makeup and like putting effort into their appearance just for their everyday lives. And I'm feeling like maybe I'm wasting my youthful years by looking like a grunge swamp creature every day. Like maybe I should start like trying a little bit again, like when I was in college and I put on makeup and like looked cute. So right now I have been trying just a little bit more, and I have noticed that I feel better.
Yeah.
This is kind of all over the place.
It's okay.
but-
You're reminding me there's so much more I have to add that I didn't say before.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I didn't even think about all the makeup stuff. That's a whole other thing. I was like, fitness. And, so I think something that might be important to give some context. So I pretty much grew up without TV.
Wow.
So, you know, vegan, hippie parents living in the country without TV reception. And I like pretty much never, to this day, I think I've only like seen one Disney movie too.
Oh my god.
So like, you know, in the 90s, like Disney movies were everything. And so even though, like I said, coming from my parents, there was a little bit of like, skinny's good, we don't want to be, and but like my family loves to eat, like we eat so much, like that's, you know, and I knew my grandparents had made some very inappropriate comments about weight and stuff, just blatant, different generation, you know, like it was just there. But at the same time, part of what I think honestly saved me from having worse body, because I didn't, when even though like that was there, part of it was you know, I was pretty fit. Like I wasn't overweight as a kid or anything.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really think too much about body image at that time. And I think honestly that was largely due to not having TV, not watching Disney movies.
Yeah.
And like that was intentional. Like my mom was like, who, you know, like hourglass figure, like princess, like that's so unrealistic. And like if this, you know, and all the makeup and all of that. So I grew up without that, and I didn't really have that media exposure until late high school, if not, you know, college more.
Yeah.
So I think that saved me from probably having a lot worse body image issues.
And we both grew up without Instagram.
Yep.
So, like, I didn't have Instagram till college. Imagine what that would have done to us.
I didn't even have Instagram in college. I got it, like, after college. I had Facebook, but people were like, I just went to the bathroom. And, like, I don't know. It's, like, weird. I wore elf ears today. That was, like, 2008 Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny.
So, and also because of that, like, I felt very outside the mainstream. As like a kid, I joked that like other people were mainstream. Like I prided myself on being a weird, dirty hippie, and like I think there was a short period in high school where I wore makeup for a little bit, but like without media and without much like I didn't know how to do makeup. I didn't have friends that taught me how to do makeup. Like so I'd watch, even now sometimes when I see videos and people do these, I'm like,
that's a lot.
I'm like, what? How do you know how to do it? Like, it's like makeup is a whole art that like I don't really know. This is another interesting thing. So like I also prided myself on like not being mainstream and giving into social pressure. And so sometime around the time that I was like 14, when I discovered that people shave their legs, I was like, I'm not, like I noticed that I wasn't, and there was a point at which I noticed like all the other girls around me were shaving, and I wanted to purely out of like conformity and social pressure, and I was like, I'm not gonna be that person. So I like resisted it for a long time, while then like ending up in social situations where I would like hide the fact that I didn't shave my legs or wear long pants, because I felt that, but I was like, I don't want to do something just because other people are doing it. Yeah. And it was like this huge internal struggle until I was like, screw it, I'm going to start shaving. And then I did for a long time. And then I got to college, and it kind of just became like, I would just get lazy. And just didn't want to.
That's how it is for me.
So, and then at some point I was like, I'm gonna stay strong. Like, I think this is a stupid social norm, whatever. So then I went like 5 or 6 years straight without shaving my legs once. I don't know how long it's been at this point. Like, I don't. And at this point, I don't really care. It's like if I felt like doing it and wanted to for, you know, some getting dressed up or something, I would. And I also am completely over any feelings of self-consciousness about that. You know, armpit, different thing. But like,
I do like to shave my armpits.
I like the look of that on me better, and I, you know, but like that kind of was a struggle I had, and makeup went along with that. It was like, I shouldn't have to, you know. And so I've gone through periods, like I wear more makeup. It's even reflected in some of my YouTube videos, you know, like sometimes I'm wearing it, sometimes I'm not. And where I'm at now with that is like, I I think it's fine to wear and makeup. And part of what I saw somebody online saying something about like how fun it was, or how it could be fun to embrace our feminine and put effort into like,
it is fun. Yeah.
You know, like there's something fun about like, let me get dressed up and put jewelry and makeup on and do my hair. And like, and then I hear a lot of people say like, when you put effort into looking nice and then you go out in the world, you feel better about yourself.
You do. And that's why I think it's not this like toxic thing that, because I don't feel pressure to wear makeup from my husband. I don't feel it from work. I can be successful at work without wearing makeup. Sometimes I just like to wear makeup.
Yeah.
And I have the same thing with my nails. Like I started doing my nails. And
very nice.
Thank you. Like I used to not give a single shit about my nails.
Yeah, I don't.
And now, like that I do them, I'm just like staring at them and I'm like, it just feels good. But I don't feel a pressure to do my nails. Like no one ever gave me any type of grief for not having nice nails. Like
so funny. So like, yeah, I never felt that way either. I think there's so many things that I think are like normal for like a lot of women growing up in our society that like I was just oblivious to. So when I taught high school, and it was an all-girls high school, I remember like if I changed my appearance, if I wore makeup, if I did anything, the kids would notice and be like, oh my God, Miss Farr, did you get a blowout? Or I remember they asked me one time if I got a blowout, and I didn't even know what that was. Like I just was having a good hair day. And they were like, did you get a blowout? And I was like, what? And they're like, you don't know what a blowout is? And I was like, no, I've never had a blowout. You know? Or like, and then they'd be like, do you know, like, we all got our nails, you know, and I'd be like, oh, I've never gotten my nails done. They're like, You've never gotten your nails done? Okay,
I will say though, I do my own nails. I'm not paying for manicures.
Oh, nice.
Like that's like, I should say no judgment if that's your thing, but I think that's, in my opinion, a waste of money. Like the upkeep, like same with getting my hair done. Like I've never dyed my hair.
Same.
Not because I think I'm like better than other people who like to get their hair done. But like, I just think that the upkeep is like so much money. Like I'm just too frugal to mess with that.
I just like my hair color and I don't want to like mess with my natural hair.
Yeah. Ooh, let's talk about what you plan to do when you start going gray, because I don't know. I have a couple gray hairs and like I started plucking them out, and then I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're just letting it happen.
I don't know. I would here's what I'd probably do. I'll probably use henna. Because that's what my mom has done.
Okay.
Outing her. But she's like in her 60s. But she's used henna to color her grays at times. And so it's like natural, it's not toxic chemicals, it's not super expensive. I don't know how long. Like, because I like the idea of embracing kind of the older wise woman, long gray hair. Like I want to be that.
But when everyone else is doing, like, say we turn 40 and we start going gray.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dyeing their hair, so then we look old.
Oh, yeah.
But like, fuck that. I don't want to, like you were saying with the shaving your legs, like, I mean, I do shave my, like, from here to here, but I don't want to be a part of that, like,
just maintaining the
toxic culture around aging. So I also reject it, but like, who knows how I'll feel now I'm 30, like I was saying before. When I was 23, I had a great attitude, and now that I'm 30, I'm like, I don't know about this gray hair. So who knows how I'll feel when I'm 40, but I kind of want to just say that I've never dyed my hair before when I'm like 100 years old.
That'd be cool.
Cool flex.
Yeah.
I also reject the idea that like vegans need to look super healthy and super young and this and that, because it is kind of ableist. Like I think that anyone who's vegan and is speaking up for animals in a way that's like effective and compassionate, like it doesn't matter what they look like. Yeah. Because to reinforce this idea that we have to look super fit and super, that's like shaming disabled, like overweight vegans. Like I don't think that's fair. Like I think you can be overweight or unhealthy as a vegan and still be a good advocate for animals.
Totally. I totally agree with you, but then it's like, I also personally still feel the like
pressure.
I still feel the pressure. I still get the comments. Like, I've had comments on Instagram, like, you know, and I don't really care. They're trolls, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, oh, really? You work out? Because you don't look like it. I don't see your, like, arm muscle. Like,
oh
you know,
my God.
like, people have said stuff, like, because I post a lot. Like, went to the gym today. Like, here's my green smoothie day. You know, whatever. Mm-hmm. And, like, I definitely, like, people will comment on your body and be like, why do you have so much body fat if you're, like, vegan and you work out? And, like...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What is wrong with people?
And yeah, and so like there, like as much as I ignore that, like it does affect me. And like at the same time, I also know, and it's a bad way to sell veganism, but like there is a reality of like, yeah, why do people look at the fitness? And you know, it's like if you do look a certain way, or especially if you are, and I don't talk about health that much, but like I think it's true that if you're like, oh, here's the healthiest way to eat, and people are like, you really don't look healthy, you know, they're gonna be less, you know, and like I said, it's a fine line, and I think obviously vegans come in all shapes and sizes, and ethics is what matter, and like you can be healthy or unhealthy and eat junk food or health food, but coming from a holistic approach and like wanting people to embrace all sides of it, I personally feel both the pressure and the drive of like, I do want to look as healthy as I can, show that side of it, but like I try to just show it and not like...
You're not shaming people.
Right, like I would, you know, like I would never tell someone they're a bad vegan, or
you
like,
need to get fit because...
you know, or you're only a good advocate, and you know, like that is absurd and ridiculous, but like, do I still feel that pressure of like, I want to put a certain image out there?
Yeah.
Like I do, and it's...
You know what's interesting? So we have it's very similar overlapping experiences, but like maybe somewhat different. Because like I am a naturally very thin person. So what's healthy for me, like I have my period every month. Like I'm just naturally skinny. So I almost feel like pressure to be thick. Because that's like what's in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I'll go on Instagram and I'll see like the slim thick girls that got like really like thick thighs and like you know, and I'm like, damn, like I'm scrawny, like I need to put on some weight, like
that's so interesting. I mean, that's like, yeah, so I think that's the difference in like if you always felt like you were skinny growing up versus like the messaging I always got was my family was always obsessed with people being like too fat or too overweight, and like also like everybody, all the women in my family have always had like huge boobs.
Can't relate.
Like I was 14 and like I remember some girl in gym class, and like when I was taking class at the local high school, and she was like, wow, you have such big boobs, and would say stuff at 14, and what I didn't even realize like that was a desire. I was just like, what? Oh yeah, I guess so, like what, you know, like, but like that's something that like at times I've felt on the flip side like is not good or doesn't look, you know, and then it's like interesting to watch how as more people are into boob jobs or talking about that, it's like in some ways that made me more comfortable with my body on that side of things, but at the same time like I've like not liked that part of me at times, because it's like I think it goes with the like having more body fat on your body or something, and so like I associated that with like being negative. But so it's just interesting, different things that you deal with growing up can totally affect like, which is a good reminder of like not everybody is looking at the same thing either and thinking like,
we don't want to see your butt, Mowgli. It's like, everyone has their own
issues and own idea of like how they want to look, and that's internal, right? So like the reality is most people are judging themselves way harder than they are other people.
So I feel a little bit, sometimes I feel uncomfortable talking about this because on some level, I know that I like fit the beauty standard. And I feel like you also fit the beauty standard.
Yeah.
So like, how do you feel about like pretty privilege, and is that a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a thing in the mainstream world, especially for some single women getting hit on. Because this isn't something that like I personally have noticed, but like I've talked to people who are like, I lost a lot of weight and I noticed that guys like legitimately treated me differently, or like I have heard a lot of stories like that of people describing like when their bodies look different that they get. I mean, and I think there's reality to that, but I also think we're acknowledging it, and I think I find it helpful when even coming from a place of like, I find myself looking at people being like, I wish I was as skinny, or growing up, you know, like I wish I was, you know, like that skinny or had abs. And so like, I actually find it helpful when I realize, oh, even people that look the way that I'm like, I wish I looked like them. And then, you know, they're like, oh, well, I have body image issues, or I wish I looked like you. I'm like, oh, like that's almost helpful to hear.
Yeah.
Because it's a reminder that like, looking like a certain way isn't the end all be all. It's not going to fix whatever insecurities we have in our heads, and that regardless of how you look, especially in this society where women get so many mixed messages about your worth is based on you looking young, your beauty, whether you fit this, that like, and so I think it can help normalize it and help people realize that like everyone, even if we do fit more traditional beauty standards, often struggle with these thoughts and insecurities.
So I have a theory, and this is just a theory. I don't know if this is true.
Okay.
But I feel like sometimes when you're stunningly beautiful, you get like so many compliments on how you look and this and that, and it almost like warps your brain to where you're more insecure than someone who is like, I don't want to say the word mediocre, but like just like generally pretty, but not like drop dead gorgeous. I feel like those people tend to have less issues with their body image, and the stunningly beautiful people, it also depends on like the industry you work in and that kind of thing. Right. And who comes to mind is, do you know Olivia Rodrigo?
Vaguely.
She's like a pop singer.
Yeah.
Pop star. Gorgeous. Beautiful body. Like stunning in every way. And she has this song called Pretty Isn't Pretty Enough.
Okay.
And she's like talking about her issue, and she has a lot of songs. She's like really vulnerable about like her issues with jealousy and like looking at other women on Instagram and how perfect they are and this and that. And I'm just like, girl, like you are beautiful. Like what? Like and so I almost think that, I mean, I do believe in pretty privilege. I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't exist, but I almost think that I'd rather be average pretty than like this, and especially I wouldn't necessarily want to be in that industry, like acting, modeling, right? Because I feel like that industry really like breeds insecurity. Oh,
I mean, body dysmorphia and like eating disorders. I mean, like, and that's the other thing, like, especially in media and pop culture, like, all this media is being put out that's like epitomizing or making certain things the beauty standard. You don't know what's going on in those people's heads, and I think like so much of that industry, people have massive mental health issues, and a lot of it is around body image and stuff like that. Like, I mean, and I've read, you know, accounts and stuff from people, but like also I think in terms of talking about aging in the beauty standard, if you are more traditionally gorgeous when you're younger, and if you take pride in that, because I feel it even in myself.
I know,
a little bit of like I don't, but it's like if you are used to being perceived, like even if you're not insecure and you're like, I know I'm hot, I know I'm pretty, and you have like, and you get certain attention or feedback from the outside world, then what happens when you start to age or not look the same? That's gonna hit you, probably someone harder. Like that, a million times harder, because you've probably tied so much of your self-worth to your image and how you look.
Yeah. Like, I made a joke the other day to my husband, and I was like, I decided I'm gonna start putting more effort into my appearance because it makes me feel good for the next 10 years, and then I'm gonna go back to not caring. Because I feel like I was like wasting my youth or something. Like I wasn't living up to my potential. I was like, I should try a little while I'm still hot.
There you go.
And then I need to reread Healthy at 100. I still want to like most days not wear makeup because I don't want to develop that feeling I had in college where when I was constantly putting in a lot of effort and then I felt ugly when I took off the makeup.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that point again. So I still am like pretty minimal and like I don't want to like try that. I'm also lazy, so I'm not going to be trying that hard.
That's a big factor in how I live my life. I'm like, I don't want to spend an hour, even my hair. I'm like, people like do their hair every single day. Like when I go to film videos or do content, like I have to plan it out because it's like, well, I'm going to the gym tomorrow, so then I need to shower. So today's a day I have to film because I'll have a good hair day. Because like I can't do that every single day.
And the other thing that's interesting about being a YouTuber is like I feel generally fine with the way I look, but there's something about staring at your face for 10 hours editing where you start to feel like, damn, like maybe I should wear some makeup and like do my hair.
Something else that's interesting I've noticed, like if I go back and scroll through old content, I look at myself much more favorably now than I did in the moment when I was filming.
Interesting.
So I'll look back and be like, wow, my hair looked really good there. Wow. And like I remember in the moment, or like even how I sound, like I just, so much of my content, I'll look back and I'll be like, I said that really good. And I like, you know, and then I'm like, and I know in the moment when I'm editing, I get so like, ugh, nah, and like so picky. And then later I'm like, that actually came out pretty good.
It's like when we look back 10 years from now, like I'm joking about looking like a swamp creature. Like obviously I don't look like a swamp creature, but like 10 years from now, I'll probably feel like
I look so good. Well, and then, okay, here's really interesting one. Like, how much do I go into this? This comes up with dating. You know, like I've had times where I've kind of gotten in the mindset of like, oh, I need to put a little bit more effort in. Like that's part of the dance. That's part of the, you know, like, whatever. But,
I definitely put more effort in when I was single.
Oops, I guess that's what I'm doing.
I've really let myself go. No, I'm just kidding.
But see, then I've had the flip side thought of like, and this happens when I go to like certain camping festivals or things where it's like, I was in Costa Rica and it was so hot and sweaty. This was at a music festival. It was so funny. You could tell the people who had Airbnbs versus the people who were camping. Cause like I'd see these girls come in and I'd be like, damn, like that's cool makeup. And I'm like, how? Like, cause to me it was like so hot and so sweaty and everything just slid off and I was just trying to like stay alive and function.
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot take the time or energy. And like the 1 or 2 days I attempted to even put a little on, it was like just rolling, like sweat beads rolling up. So, you know, like, and especially like sticking like jewels on if you were like trying to put more of a like festival look on. So it was very obvious, like, oh yeah, they came from an Airbnb, like they're not camping. But when I'm in environments where like the effort, like it's just not, like I'm not gonna wear makeup, it's not possible, it's not comfortable, and I just kind of get used to it and I'm still feeling confident and, you know, or environments where lots of people are doing that, sometimes more outdoorsy camping types of things. And then I'll notice or I'll think like, oh, this is authentically me. And if I don't wear makeup that much, if I'm putting makeup on every time I go on a date or getting all dressed up and putting all this effort in, then am I giving
a catfishing?
A false impression? Not catfishing, but like, then would I attract someone that is more attracted to that, or they expect me to wear makeup or dress up or look a certain way all the time, versus if I meet someone when I'm at a hippie festival, you know, wearing like whatever, not caring about my look at all, am I more likely, I don't know, I have all these...
I have thoughts.
Okay.
I think that it depends on the context of the date. So if you're going out to dinner, wear makeup.
Yeah.
If you're going on a hike, don't wear makeup.
Yeah.
Because that, like a hike, you're gonna be sweating and greasy.
Right.
Music festival's kind of tricky though, because like you want to do your makeup all cool, but you're also sweating, so it's like, I don't know.
I gave up on that one.
But I feel like second date, do something low key where you don't wear makeup, and if they want a third date, you're going. But honestly though, like, this is just our perception, because you, to me, look beautiful without makeup, so like any guy is gonna feel the same way. Like,
thank you.
I think it's only us, like it's only ourselves who feel that way.
I mean, and then you see the things about guys not even noticing when someone is wearing makeup or not, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like Ethan couldn't care less. I mean, he does appreciate when I put on, he's like, oh, you look nice, you know.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care if I like wear makeup often. It's not like, oh, you're not gonna put on makeup? Like, you should put on makeup.
And that would obviously not work for me if that was someone's attitude.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm very much at a place, I'm like, I'm not for or against it. I'm like, I think makeup, I think it can be very fun to get dressed up and do stuff. And even for videos, it's like some days I'm like, I guess if I film a video or something today, I'm looking cute. And then other days it's like, I'm being real today, guys. Yeah. This is how I look right now.
So how do we feel about Botox? Is it vegan? I don't think it's vegan.
I'm pretty, most drugs and things like that, I'm sure it's tested on animals. I don't know what the ingredients are fully. Probably not, but I'm not a fan. Because it's like, to me, makeup is one thing, like, it's removable, it's not like, I don't know, part of you, but...
Well, Botox wears off.
Okay.
But still.
But yeah, like, I don't know, that's not something I plan to do.
I feel the same way, but having, like, when I think about it, I don't know if I actually have like a rational reason to be so against it, because I mean, I use a prescription retinol cream, which is supposedly anti-aging. I use it for keep my skin clear. Yeah. But I also got braces, and like there are other things that are similar. Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? The reason I don't like the idea of Botox is because I just can we all just like accept that we're aging? Because I don't like the idea of when I turn 40 or 45 or whatever, if everyone else is getting Botox, I look old.
Well, and also
I don't like that.
Botox is also literally toxic. Like, there are some documented health negatives from like regular Botox use too, which like I don't think braces have. Yeah. You know, so then it's
I took Accutane. That shit's fucked up. But I worked.
But yeah, like I guess I tend to lean towards like, if the thing you're doing to achieve a certain beauty standard causes health issues, that's like extra problematic from just, because then it's like, then if I'm the only 40-year-old that doesn't, you know, like that has wrinkles on my forehead or whatever, and the only way the thing to fit in or do whatever else is doing is going to harm my health. Yeah. You know, versus potentially. Yeah. Right? I mean, and I know people say like some makeup can be toxic too and stuff, but like, yeah, I think if there's a negative health risk associated with the thing you're talking about, you know, like breast implants, there's a lot of people that are, you know, not told all of the potential risks and side effects by their doctors, and then have like serious health issues if they like leak and there's heavy metals in them and like, you know, all of this stuff. And especially if young women are feeling the pressure to do things and they're doing them then without all of the knowledge of potential risks and side effects to achieve a certain standard that's being maintained around them, like I think that's extra harmful, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know that I have a clear distinction there either.
Maybe I'm just selfishly against it because I want to look good when I'm 50. I don't want to look older than my age because everyone else is getting preventative Botox.
Yeah, I feel ya.
Isn't this like elitist? Sometimes I wonder if it's a little bit of an elitist attitude to be like, I'm too good for like.
But then like Botox is expensive too, so is it not elitist to have the money for all the cosmetic procedures to achieve a certain?
You're right.
Like, Botox, regularly dyeing your hair, getting injection. You know, I mean, like all of that stuff is expensive.
Because like the thing I was getting at was like this idea that like the reason celebrities don't disclose what work they've had done is because they feel this shame. Like everyone wants to be naturally beautiful.
Right.
And it's like, for me, I've never had any work done, but like sometimes I think to myself, because I do have judgmental thoughts where I'm like, guys, stop getting lip filler, you look like a clown. But I have like naturally full lips, so like who am I to say?
Right. Well, okay, so
it's like I'm naturally beautiful, so like y'all need to like stay down there.
I think this is actually my take on so much, okay? So like it's like if we weren't so looks obsessed in general, if we just embraced whether it was aging or some people have full lips, some people don't, some people this, some people that, if we were more accepting in society, because like I said, there are lots of people on both sides, right? Like lots of people feel that it's okay to comment on other people's bodies in person and online. Lots of people have grown up with family members, you know, you're too this, you're too that, you know, like, you know, people saying all of that. If that wasn't a thing and we truly embraced everyone being individuals and looking the way they do, like that would solve a lot. Like people are doing a lot of this out of insecurity. Then it could be at a place where we could choose to get that, put the makeup on, do the whatever, to have fun, to go out to do something, and not out of a place of insecurity. I think the insecurity and the comparisonitis and the issues in society, those are the root issue, not the people doing and you know, and so it's like that's where we should direct, the way I'd put it, direct our judgment and stuff, because like I feel the same, like but like also I think people are doing those things and we're judging those things out of this toxic society and toxic societal beauty standards. And I think this goes even like people expressing gender and different stuff. Like if we were, you know, not little girls have to wear that, you know, little boys can't wear dresses. Like if we were just like, people express yourself, be however you want, live your life, look, dress, you know, like do whatever you want. I think there would be less pressure and insecurity in general for people to feel like they had to like somehow medically alter their bodies.
Right. I've thought about this too. That is, that's really interesting, because I feel like some of the surgeries, the gender-related surgeries, I feel like there has to be an elevated feeling of gender dysphoria because of the toxic beauty standards we have in society.
Like, so I think they're very similar.
Yeah, if more like cis women didn't shave their legs and didn't whatever, then I think that trans women would feel more comfortable being perceived as like, you know.
Exactly. And like I have seen people who like, there very much are those toxic elements of people who are still like, no, pink is a girl's color, I'm not gonna let my little boy play with dolls, or you know, like stuff like that. And I think that creates these like giant poles where then to live in and deal with that society, people swing, you know, like and it's like if we were just accepting in general, I think there'd be a lot less focus on these issues and them being so polarizing, or people, I think women, you know, getting Botox and boob jobs in Hollywood is very similar, has a lot of similarities to some of gender dysphoria, because I think both of them kind of stem from insecurities and a lack of society accepting and embracing gender expression and beauty expression in a whole spectrum. Right. And if we could change society, then individuals wouldn't have to bear the burden of that.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up. I don't want to make this video over an hour long, so. Any final thoughts?
I've been really real today,
Yeah.
so enjoy this conversation.
I would say stay off Instagram.
Yeah.
Because
Or be there, curate your feed. Like, I can change my feed on a day-to-day basis by what and just be aware that it's, especially when people have like over 100,000 followers, it's not real life. You don't know what is going on behind the scenes or how those people feel.
And beautiful people have problems.
We got so many problems. Anyway.
Anyways. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little chit chat style video.
Subscribe.
And stay tuned for the next one. All right, peace out.